Well, welcome. Listen, this is Dr. Pastor Anthony D. Shannon. You know me. Listen, I'm the host for Leading from the Future. We never lead from behind, we always lead from the future. And I want to welcome you back because you know what we do. We always bring to you some of the best exciting testimonies, some of the best exciting stories from some of the best top leaders and speakers out there. You know, this is a unique space where inspiration seamlessly blends with revelation. Why? So that we can empower you on your journey. Right here at Leading from the Future, we don't just keep you informed. You know, we always give you revelation to help you transform your perspective. And we want you to dive into these riveting stories of individuals that we bring to you who've triumphed over adversity. And I want you to learn from those who have persevered against all odds. Listen, they didn't get bitter, but they got better. That's how they persevered. And I want you to understand that as you hear these stories, we want to ignite what you do so that we can push you into your next. We want you to understand that as they're using their voice, using their platforms, we want to help you to use your voice to ignite change. Our show just isn't about stories, right? It's a call to action because we believe everyone has a purpose, a unique calling that makes them indispensable to the world. So join us as we explore these pathways, uncover hidden potentials, and then inspire you to embrace your destiny. You know what I like to say? Life without purpose is like living life not at all. So find your purpose so you can live your legacy. Well, listen, I promise you, you're going to be excited. You're going to be fired up. You're going to get some information and some revelation, and you're going to not want to sit on the couch anymore. Okay? Because my guest today, she's the one and the only. That's right. No other person got her fingerprint. I promise you that. Yeah. What do we call her? Dr. T. Dr. Tijuana Smith Pittman. She's uniquely flawed woman who defied others' expectation. She became an influential advocate for women across ethnicities for over 2 decades. That's what, let me tell you something. She ain't a novice here, okay? She done something, been something, and guess what? Pushing you to do something too. She and her husband, Bishop Michael Pittman, lead a thriving New Testament Christian community while serving as founder and CEO. As an itinerant pastor, she crisscrosses the U.S., sharing the gospel with diverse communities, translating complex spiritual truths, here it is, into relevant everyday life. You can't get over her. Come on, somebody. She done it all, seen it all. Yes, sir. You better check it, boo. All right? Because she's certified transformational speaker. She's a relational intelligence specialist, theologian. She radically empowers women, leaders, and entrepreneurs by translating hard-hitting spiritual truths into relatable forms. You know what they say, don't preach to me. She ain't gonna preach to you, but she will teach you. I promise you that. She has the workbook Conversation. She empowers individuals by helping them confront their now what. I like that, don't you? As the visionary host of the Uniquely Flawed, the Conversation Talk Show, the UFTC podcast, she empowers women to celebrate their individuality, own their own complexities, and live authentic. All right. She is the CEO, the founder of Uniquely God Purpose Enterprise, and curator of NUNIQ2U. You got it. Mentoring, empowering women to walk, to talk, and guess what? Walk in their doctrinal femininity. Can't nobody beat you at being you. You better clap those hands, stump your feet, and welcome Dr. T up in here. Dr. Tijuana Smith Pittman, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, woman of God. We appreciate you.
Good evening, Dr. Shannon. You know how it is, right? Thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here on this evening.
Well, good, because you know we are in anticipation to unlock who you are to our community and let them know across the country, and even let other women know that they can and be empowered. They can walk in who they are without losing their femininity. Come on, somebody. And you are here to do just that. Well, let's start here. Let's talk about who Dr. T is, right? Who's your parents? Where was you born and raised? And how did you get into your faith? That's a whole lot, but we can unpack it.
That's a whole lot right there. Well, the bottom line to it is that I stumbled into it.
Uh-oh.
In terms of my faith, I stumbled into it. We want to give a long, drawn out explanation of how we got there, but for real, I stumbled into it. I believe that I believe that the Lord looked over the portals of heaven and said, I need to get this one right now. A female version of the Apostle Paul. If I don't get her soon, if I don't get her right now, I don't know where she's going to end up at, but I want to get her right now. And that's where I started. I'm from the DMV, Washington, D.C., by way of Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I am the oldest of Easter McCrae. I have twin sisters. They're twins, as a matter of fact. And I am the oldest, and I have come in this place and in this space because I believe that God back in eternity knew that he had put a sword in my mouth. And I had to go through these crucible conflicts in order to be able to pull not only my sisters, but my brothers from out of those trenches. And I believe that in this hour, God is sending us and has sent me to be able not just to empower with principles and tools and strategies, but be able to have a real conversation with folks, to be able to let them know if he did it for me, he'll certainly do it for you. That he is no respecter of person. And that's the bottom line. All of those credentials, I thank God for them. I thank God for being able to say that he has allowed me to do some amazing things. But at the end of the day, I'm reachable and teachable. That's the bottom line.
Wow, wow, wow. That's so powerful. I like that. You said reachable and teachable. Well, listen, let's just get deep on into it. What then inspired you to embrace this identity that you call uniquely flawed?
When I think about that, and that's a beautiful question, when I think about really what inspired me, it was coming from that place and that space myself, being always in a place where you knew that you belonged, but some kind of way you always felt that you were cut from a different cloth. And with all of our backgrounds and so forth, and even our dysfunctions, family is family, and we love them, but we got to be honest about it. We got a lot of dysfunction going on, and so when we think about it from that perspective, what drew me out the most was I kept seeing some things in my life, patterns in my life, and then I realized that nobody could speak to it. And the reason why they couldn't speak to it was because oftentimes we tend to shy away or shut down the thing that is unfamiliar to us. Y'all not saying nothing. And so they didn't know what to do with me, to be honest with you. And it came from out of my very own wells and times and moments where I found myself ostracized. Ostracized, whether it was self-exile or self-inflicted, call it what you want. But the bottom line to it was there wasn't a conversation happening. And I found that there were other women and men, quite frankly, that were in that same boat. But the church didn't know what to do with this, not just the church. I'm talking about our families because there was a uniqueness there. And nobody was talking about that. Nobody was talking about that, Dr. Shannon. What do you mean unique? Fool, you better get somewhere and sit down for real, for real. Nobody was talking about that. Nobody was talking from the stream of empowering. Nobody talked about mental illness. Nobody talked about suicide. Nobody talked about feeling that you weren't enough. Nobody talked about not just from the perspective of a deadbeat dad, not just tearing down men, but from the perspective of going into relationships as a grown-tail woman and not understanding the dynamics of a man. I want a man, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do with him when I really get him for real. And then I'm going to try to line him up with the Bible. Y'all not saying nothing. And so this space and this place here again, I tell people all the time, and that's not to be arrogant in any shape, form, or fashion. It's not an event. It's not a movement. This is my life. This is a lifestyle. And so I'm coming to this place and bringing others into this space that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, first and foremost, and are ready, because you have to be ready to embrace. First and foremost, you have to be ready to embrace the process of being processed. Come on here. We walk what we're doing and we see what we see, Dr. Shannon, but at the same time, you can't do anything until you make the decision that you're willing to embrace the process. And the process is ugly. The cross was not sanitized. It was not sanitized. And neither was my life. And so we get up and we give these wonderful praise reports, and I'm thankful to God, but I want to be real clear what uniquely flawed is. It's for the
Yes.
individual that is ready to move past seeing their flaws as personality defects. Y'all not saying nothing.
Yes, indeed.
But rather see them as God purposed, unique usabilities. Wherever your sphere of influence is, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a homemaker, whether you work at the gas station, whether you're a CEO, CFO, or DSW, y'all not saying nothing. And at that particular time, as I was moving into these things and in these spaces and places and wanting to have these conversations, Dr. Shannon, they did not know how to digest that. So I was asking questions, just like Jesus was in the temple, huh? Y'all want to talk Bible, but y'all really for real, y'all talking Bible for real. You're not saying nothing. You're not meeting people where they are. Yes. So we have these masks that we put on, and I got tired of putting on the mask. So I made the decision as God was drawing me, because when he called me, I was like, now you do know where I've been. Jesus? You do know what I've done.
Yes, indeed.
You do know what I think, and you do know what I like. Now, I want to give you some time to think about that. Now, I'm talking to God, but this is the relationship that I had with him, and I have with him. And I find that being uniquely flawed is not about perfection. It is about the perfecter, who is Christ, living through my imperfection. Y'all need to say, come on here.
You got to rewind that and say that again now. You got to rewind that one more time.
It is the perfecter, who is Christ, living through my imperfections. And when you embrace your imperfections, guess what? You don't show up as the exception. I am no man's exception, and I'm not talking gender. I am unapologetically unignorable, undefinable in stature and in presence. Guess what? Flaws and all. And that is what God has given me. Now, it has cost me. It has cost me much, but here again, didn't our redemption cost God everything?
Wow. Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
We want the shift, but we don't want the shifter to shift us. So I had to come to a place, and on that playing field, it wasn't even. It wasn't fair, because here again, it tapped into the taboo. And we don't want to talk about the taboo. We want you to talk about it, but we don't want you to get on our script. SKREETZ. Don't get on my script. So when you get on my screen, and then then what's happening is I'm now confronting the thing in you that you don't want to talk about, that really you can relate to. But if I get too deep with it, if I get too personal with it, then it becomes a problem, because then it causes the mask that you have sealed, that you are now believing, to unseal itself. It causes the realm of it to get into the space and the place where the untruth can no longer sit and salivate. That's what uniquely flawed is.
Ooh, that right there is so powerful, because so many people, women and men, but women in particular, want to be perfect. They don't want to embrace their flaws. So what was that defining moment then when you realized my flaws are a part of my divine assignment?
The moment that I realized that was life-changing. And I'll tell you why it was life-changing, because I always felt like I wasn't enough. Let's go back to that cut from a different cloth, if I may, for just a moment. You know, that right there can take you somewhere. And the decision, I made the decision, here it is, that I was no longer going to try to outrun words. Y'all not saying nothing. Boom. And when I made that decision, Dr. Shannon, it was at that juncture that I became free. And I don't mean, this kind of free. I mean free indeed. Free to say, you know what? I don't have that right. But I didn't say that right. But I don't feel that. And I may not look that way, and I may not present it that way, and I may not even be used by God in the way that you think that I should be used in his household.
In his household.
In his household. Because the bottom line to it is that if it's not cost you anything, then you shouldn't even be willing to offer it to God.
Oh my goodness. Now you need to
come on here.
Break that down, because that was so powerful. I need them to hear that one.
David made it very clear. Abraham made it very clear. Jonah made it very clear when he came to himself. All right. At the end of the day, the thing that I'm believing about myself that God says that I am, do I think that he's going to send me in a space that they're going to be able to teach something that is holy, that is not wrought in the earth? Do I think that they're going to be able to handle the thing that is so holy? And I'm not talking about me, that is so revolutionary. Do I think that they're going to be able to teach me the thing that he's given me that he's not given to them, that they're not going to have an understanding with, and that it's not going to cost me something? Rejection, abandonment, being censored, being threatened. Come on here. We want to talk about the reality of what God is calling us to do in this hour. If your purpose has never been threatened, then you're not walking in purpose.
Oh my goodness, that's powerful.
You're not. You're working in an orchestrated file that looks good.
Wow. So are you saying, Dr. T, if they're going to walk this walk of the understanding uniquely flawed, accepting it, that it's going to cost them something to walk in that type of authenticity?
Absolutely. That level of authenticity is not just limited to your competencies. Come on here. Because sometimes when we're introduced to people, or we introduce ourselves to people, I ask people all the time, particularly leaders, what version of you are you introducing? What version? Because we have the multiplicity of versions. Which version are you introducing? Are they being introduced to your title? Are they being introduced to your position? What are they being introduced to? When I show up, I'm not showing up just to be showing up. I'm showing up with purpose because I'm on an assignment. And I'm clear that that assignment is going to buffet somebody's wings, W-A-N-G-S, in the room. I'm clear on that. Because anytime, from Genesis to Revelation, anytime there's an assignment, there has to be an incarceration. There has to be an incarceration. Look at Joseph, for instance, if I may.
Yes, indeed.
Now, Joseph, again, was favored by his dysfunctional family. His father loved him. He absolutely loved him. But he didn't have the mercy. He didn't have the competency to be able to distinguish, loving from a place of wholeness as opposed to loving from a place of selected views. And he knew that he was the son of his later years, but yet he did not know how to interweave him into his love and make it so that it would be abroad. But God already knew that. And so we look at Joseph's life and we say, well, his brothers were jealous of him and they put him in the pit. And they did. Well, he went to Potiphar's house, he had favor, and because he was trying to be pure, and a lot of times when you're trying to be pure in conversation, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, biblically, whatever purity form you are trying to operate in, guess what? The temp is not going to sing you somebody missing 4 teeth. They're going to sing you somebody that checks all the boxes. And so here he is being accused of attempting to rape Potiphar's wife, which he didn't. But God needed him to know what that felt like to be accused of unfairly. I know what it feels like to be accused of something that you didn't do. And so sometimes we want these platforms, we're covering the influence, but we're not looking at what is that going to cost me? And so they say, Dr. T, you're this and you're that and so forth. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting any of that down. I'm grateful that indeed. God has made me approachable and has given me the privilege to be able to move with this revelatory mantle that he has given me. However, let's not get it twisted. I'm clear who I am. And I'm not who I am because you say so. Y'all not saying nothing. We need to know you didn't redeem me. We need to know that you didn't summon me. And we know that we need to know that I don't belong to you. And that will cost you even family. Y'all not saying nothing.
Man, oh man, oh man. Listen, y'all been listening to, we call her Dr. T. You don't hear me. TNT, short, because y'all can't handle the other explosion. Okay, Miss Dr. Tijuana Smith Pittman. If you've just joined, you're watching Leading from the Future. I'm your host, Dr. Pastor Anthony Shannon. Listen, this is a good time to take a break because she is winding up. She is fired up. She is knocking out home runs, dropping 24-karat gold bars. Indeed. You better get that revelation. Amen. And listen, this is the moment we take a moment to break. We want you to make sure you purchase Live Generously. If you do not have my book, Live Generously, I want to encourage you to get this book. All right. We want you to know what to do with your finances. All right. We want you to know what God has to say about it. But most importantly, we need you to be generous. We need you to be generous, people. Always think about another person, helping one. We call it pay it forward, right? Who do you have next? Who is your successor? Who are you working on to make sure they're a leader, to take over something, to lead something, and put them at the table, not just on the menu? Come on, somebody. You need to live generously today. All right. And then we always encourage you to sow a seed into this broadcast. As we take the broadcast all over the country, all over the world, we ask you to sow a seed today. All right. And listen, I want to keep you and see you at the top. All right. Thank you so much.
Here at the Victory Church, we are a teaching church, and who better to learn from than our very own Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. He's written a book entitled Live Generously. That's right. If you are ready to embrace biblical principles about money and to learn about God's financial management and even about the joys of trusting God through giving, it's time for you to live generously. Get this book today. Purchase it for $20 here at the church, or you can purchase it in ebook form on our website for $14.99. That's right. Go ahead and visit our website, thevictorychurchint.org. You want to get this book if you are ready to go to another level and embrace God's biblical principles about money. Are you unshakable? We know you can't stop the storms of life, but you can discover how to be unshakable. If you're ready to learn how to overcome family challenges, illness, financial stress, and more, you need this book, Unshakable, written by Nelson Searcy. And the foreword was written by our very own Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Get this book, Unshakable, today for only $20 at the church. And you can also email us at tvci.executiveoffice@gmail.com. Get Unshakable today. It is God's desire that you overcome obstacles, even in less than optimum circumstances. Get these books today to live your best life. And here at the Victory Church, as we say, success is the only option.
Leaders don't wait for change, they create it. Champions don't walk alone, they stand together in faith. In this great collaboration, this is your invitation to the Leaders Live Generously Prayer Breakfast of Champions, a gathering of visionaries, believers, and world changers. Where? I'm telling you, 32747 Grand Travis, August 30th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. It will be a morning of revelation, restoration, and renewed strength. Isaiah 40:31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings as eagles." You know it's your time to soar. I need you to come expecting divine encounters, prophetic impartation, kingdom connections that will shift your life forever. Don't miss this moment with destiny, because when leaders pray, heavens move. I want to see you there. Click now on the link. This is Dr. Prophet Anthony Shannon signing out. I'll see you in the place.
My name is Dr. Tijuana Smith Pittman, and you are watching Leading from the Future with Dr. Prophet Anthony D. Shannon.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into Leading from the Future with Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, we hope that you're enjoying the show, and we want to let you know that we are grateful for you. From captivating stories to insightful discussions, we value your presence in our community. Now, if you're finding value and joy in what we bring to your screen, we'd like to invite you to consider taking your support a step further. To ensure the continued success of our channel, we warmly invite you to contribute. We're seeking 10 generous individuals to donate $1,000 each, as well as 10 contributors with a gift of $526, and 10 supporters donating $224.24. Every donation, regardless of the amount, makes a significant impact. However, as a token of our gratitude, each contributor will receive a personalized prophetic word and an exclusive ebook. We have 3 simple ways for you to give, making it quick and easy for you to send your contributions. The first is Cash App. That's right, $ Anthony D. Shannon. You can send your contribution directly to our amazing host. The second way is to download the VChurch app. Go ahead and download on the Google Play or your App Store and follow the prompts there. The third is Cash App, $ the Victory Church INT. Again, we thank you for your contributions and your support of Leading from the Future with our amazing host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony D. Shannon. Well, thank you for being an essential part of our journey. Your generosity truly fuels our passion. Now let's get back to the show because more exciting moments await us. Thank you for your continued support.
Well, all right. Thank you so much and welcome back to Leading from the Future. I'm your host, Dr. Pastor Prophet Anthony Shannon. We are talking with our special guest, Dr. T. Yes, right, Dr. Tijuana Smith Pittman. And she has just been talking to us about uniquely flawed and what it's going to cost you if you're going to walk in that level of authenticity, that level of understanding that your own flaws is part of your divine assignment. Wow. She's talked about Joseph in the pit, but it cost him. Come on, somebody. Before he got to where he needed to be, he needed to go down. Even Jesus Christ went down before he went up. All right. So it's going to cost you something. Nothing worthwhile, amen, is around the corner. It's always uphill. All right. So listen, let's get back to it. All right, Dr. T, you've been dealing with this. Here's another question that I want to ask you after all that you have said. Then how do you then stay grounded spiritually while leading, such a multifaceted life?
When you recall, when you remember, when you reflect upon the dungeon-like places, beyond a shadow of a doubt that it was nobody but God that brought you up out of it.
Okay.
It puts a reverential fear in you. That's part one of it. But the second component of it is that it gives you a level of compassion.
Okay.
Because you don't want to see other men and women have to go through some of the things that you have encountered. And it's not so much wanting to save the world, because that's already been done. But it is that I believe that when you, just like the Apostle Paul, the thorn that was in his side,
yes,
was there for purpose. And that purpose wasn't just because of the revelation. It was a level of compassion that he needed to remember. I remember when. I remember when I was misunderstood. I remember when I was falsely accused and 2 steps away from being locked up on a Trump charge. Y'all not saying nothing. See, that's a
Trump charge. Wow.
On a Trump charge. I remember being kicked up out of God's house because I was labeled as militant, and I was labeled as rebellious. And I wasn't any of those things at all, but I did not fit the norm, whatever the norm is.
I got
and
you.
Because I don't know what to do with you, I need to character assassinate your name. I need to shut you down. And here again, we want these places and these spaces, and we want to have access to it. But how about being called and doing your initial sermon only to have the very offering stolen from you? How about that?
Wow.
How about that? And so when I talk about uniquely flawed, I'm not talking about some fly-by-night, book doctor just created, something that sounded trendy. Again, we need to know, everyone says I want to know my purpose. And we've made purpose about a destination
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to seeing it from the perspective that it's a mantle.
Mm.
And the mantle, you don't get to decide when you're going to put it on. And you don't get to decide when you take it off.
Mm-hmm.
So when it becomes a lifestyle, you eat, sleep, and drink it. And it will cost you not just from the perspective of people externally, it'll cost you and your family.
Wow.
And that's
Deal
real
with
talk,
that for a
baby.
moment. Yeah, you got to deal with that for a moment
Well,
because
let's deal with it.
everybody always wants to hold on to their family, even though their family might be rejecting them. Their family may be saying, hey, you're not lining up with us, but yet you feel something stronger to push you forward. But they keep trying to go back to the family, or they feel guilty because they're trying to move forward, but their family don't want them to, and they keep going back. How do you deal with that?
There is no right or wrong to it. It really boils down to, and I keep going back to Joseph only because I can relate with him, and I also relate to David as well.
Mm,
When I thought about the name of the show, let me go there for just a moment.
yeah,
Leading
yeah.
from the future.
Mm-hmm.
You know, quite frankly, that's an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But what we fail to realize is that
Thank you for joining us for an impactful and empowering word here at the Victory Church International. We pray that it blessed you on your journey of faith. Well, it is now time to sow. Here at the Victory Church International, we believe in the power of giving as taught in Luke 6:38. Give and it'll be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. When we give, we're expecting God to bring a multiplied return into our lives, just as His Word promises. So as a part of our giving, we honor the Teruma offering. This special giving allows us to bless the priest. Is pronounced over our home, just as referenced in Ezekiel 4:30. Well, there are 3 easy ways to give your Teruma offering. The first is Cash App. That's right, you can sow your Teruma to $ Anthony D. Shannon. You can also give via PayPal. That is paypal.me/Anthony D. Shannon 21. You can also give your Teruma offering to Anthony D. Shannon on Zelle. Go ahead and give your Teruma offering now. We also encourage you to give your tithes, offering, and Levitical support. These expressions of obedience and faithfulness enable us to advance God's kingdom through the Victory Church International. And there are 6 convenient ways to give. The first is our app. That's right. Go ahead and search the Victory Church International app on your Google Play or Apple Store. You can also text to give by texting the word circulate to 1-888-364-4483. You can also give by visiting our website, thevictorychurchint.org. And the Victory Church has a Cash App. That's right, you can sow to the Victory Church at $ the Victory Church INT. You can also give on Zelle. Find the Victory Church at btvicc@icloud.com. And if you have a Venmo, go ahead and give at Anthony-Shannon-24. Are you giving? Make sure that your giving is a work from the heart. God loves a cheerful giver. Well, we thank you for your generous support of Leading from the Future and for being a part of what God is doing through the Victory Church International. Your giving makes a difference, and we're so grateful for you. Well, stay connected with us by visiting our website at thevictorychurchint.org or by texting WWA to 54244. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for your support of the Victory Church International at Leading from the Future. We never want to end our broadcast without giving glory to God, because without Him, none of this would be possible. Our prayer is that the Lord will bless you and keep you, and that His face would shine upon you.